Chris. I'm here to talk to you guys about my article called Promoting Voice in the Writing of English Language Learners: What to Do When Language is a Barrier. This is an article by Michael Reed, who I'm assuming was a professor at the University of Finlay. And pretty much what this article is all about is a lot to do with this quote that I include by Voltaire: Writing is the painting of the voice. And what that really means is that the way that we write has a lot to do with the way that our voice and our expression is. So in this article, they talk a lot about how we can try to get ELL students to really express themselves with their voice and translate that into their writing. So let's go ahead and look at the definition of voice. Okay, the definition of voice is pretty much the articulation and sharing of one's world, one's experiences, and one's vision. Okay, everyone has their own experiences, and everyone has their own world. So everyone's voice is going to be a little different. Mine is going to be different than yours. Yours is going to be different than your classmates and everyone else around you. Okay, and what's really important about this is that a developing voice within a population of students can be really daunting because they lack the linguistic tools in English for full expression. So it's really important for us as teachers to try to get them to try to work on them to bring out that voice with them, so that way we can really emerge them as individuals and get them to creatively share their own expressions and thoughts. Okay. So reasons for promoting voice with ELLs and bilinguals, okay? Now, one thing you have to understand before I go on is that the reason that a lot of teachers sometimes shy away from teaching voice to students is because, in general, ELL students have to pass a proficiency test, okay? They have to pass a basic proficiency to show that they have adequate writing skills, and a lot of times teachers shy away from teaching voice because they just want them to be proficient, and that's it. Okay, but there are some really good reasons for promoting voice within these ELLs and bilinguals. Okay, generally they have the most dramatic voice to be uncovered. So what that means is that an ELL student normally comes from a different country, and the way they had to get to America, it was probably a lot harder than it was for us in general growing up in suburbia. Okay, so this is why we really want to try to uncover their voice, because they have a lot to say, okay? They cry out for expression, but the sad thing is that they lack the right tools and proper linguistic skills to either write or express themselves, okay? So it's really important that teachers try to get that voice out of them, or else they're going to be lost in a maze of different identities and allegiances and not really know how to express themselves. So where do we start? Okay, most second language learners, like I said, don't have the complexities of spoken or written English grammar. Okay, so as teachers, we need to design writing tasks with really minimal complexity, so that we're not lowering that so that we lower the effective filter, we have them in a comfortable setting, okay, and ultimately make it really easy for them. Okay, down here at the bottom, you see an example. Okay, this is what the article said a lot of teachers use to help promote voice. Okay, just finishing this sentence, because it allows the student to think about on their own personal experiences and write it down, but still have an understanding of the syntaxical and the grammatical makeup of the sentence. Okay, so a lot of these activities need to be creative, orally dictated, and really tap into the dimension of voice for the second language learner. Okay, so what tools can we use to help this out? Okay, there are two different things that this article talks about that we can use to really help out. One of those things is multicultural literature. Okay, multicultural literature is really important and really helps with ELLs because it allows them to connect almost with the characters or with the story. Okay, a lot of the time ELLs can't connect with stories that are about America because they aren't from here. So by bringing in multicultural stories, okay, ELLs have a chance to really connect with the characters and really understand where they're coming from and connect it with their own life, okay? And that's important because then that further helps them express themselves in writing, okay? Another really good tool is using predictable books, okay? A predictable book is where you read a story and then the teacher has a worksheet where they change the certain words or leave out certain words and have students fill in with their own. So for example, right here, Okay, we have an example. If I was a teacher, I would change out adjectives or nouns like bear, big, beautiful, and scared, and I would ask the students to fill in what they would want. Okay, that way it's really helping them spark almost a creative mind in them to help them really work on their writing skills. Okay. Now, like I said, the biggest challenge for teachers is to try to get them to do this, okay? And a lot of teachers shy away from this mainly because they are scared that if they focus too much on this, they're not going to prepare their students to pass the proper proficiency test that they need, okay? But I found that it's really important that we promote voice. That way, students can really understand who they are and we really help these ELL students express themselves. So, in conclusion, the goal of achieving voice within the writing curriculum of non-English proficient students is really achievable and worthwhile. Okay, it will really help your students become more situated in school, allow them to express themselves, and really identify and not be afraid of who they are, where they came from. And that'll all translate over into their writing skills as well. But we always have to remember two things: to create authentic tasks, okay, that really help them connect and aren't just time wasters, okay, and provide intense and active scaffolding within those tasks, such as ways that it's making them not afraid to write down something and be afraid of the linguistic or grammatical errors. Okay, so in conclusion, I really like this article and I really like the idea of promoting voice within English language learners because ultimately it'll really help them when it comes to writing, and it'll really help them not be afraid of saying something or writing something down and being afraid of the critiques with it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this article because I did too, and I hope you guys learned something about how we can promote voice in the writing of our English language learners.